Hi everyone and welcome back to Nick's Diecast. Today's video I'm going to be showing you guys and reviewing this 1/18 scale 1957 Chevrolet Corvette made by Maisto. So I'm trying out a different filming location for this video, as you can see. I'm at a different desk and everything. I just want to kind of see how this works out. I know in previous videos I used my dining room with like all the natural light and everything. I'm just going to see how this goes in terms of like lighting and whatnot. So if you guys want to kind of tell me how this looks in terms of like the lighting quality and everything and shadows, you can leave a comment down below. But yeah, I just wanted to try out like a different look, like filming spot and whatnot. So this model is made by Maisto, as I already said, but for many years it was actually made by Bburago. Bburago began making this Corvette model sometime in the late 1980s when they first began making their 1/18 scale cars. And then when Bburago went bankrupt in 2005, Maisto actually bought them. So now both brands are under the Maisto group. So Maisto didn't make too many changes to this model. It's pretty much been the same model in terms of quality and everything for the last 30 plus years. And that's actually pretty kind of amazing to think that just like one single model has been around for all that time. There's, of course, been some changes in paint colors and whatnot. It was recently discontinued, but in the past year, you could get it in this really nice bronze with the white interior, and it also came in a black with a black interior and silver. They're called fins on the sides. This is an actual paint color that Chevrolet offered for the Corvette in 1957. I think in 1958 also, if I'm not mistaken. And it was called bronze. It had some kind of other fancy name to it, but the paint color is referred to as bronze. So let's go ahead and get into the details here of this model. And we'll kind of see if this holds up to the standards of other 1/18 scale cars, despite its age. So in terms of the front, we'll go ahead and take a look at the headlights here. Maisto/Bburago did a pretty good job with these lights here. There is a peg in the center of each one, as you can see, but that's actually where the light bulb would be on the real car, so that really isn't that big of a deal. I like this kind of chrome frame around the light here. That's a separate piece. And the lenses have a nice texture to them too. These fog lights are actually little kind of bulbs. They're not just painted on or anything. They would not really look good if they were painted on, so I like how they went with like the separate plastic pieces and everything. The grille is hollow, as you can see. You can see into the engine there. It's a bit loose. My grandfather actually has the black version of this model, and he has the same problem with a loose grille. And on the license plate frame, you can see it says Corvette there with that inscription, which looks good. Paint quality, I would say, is very good overall. It has like a metallic kind of look to it. And this badge you can see here, the Corvette badge, kind of hard to get focused on it. There we go. Has the two flags on it and that kind of V shape in Corvette up there. That was the Corvette logo for the C1 generation of the 1950s, which looks really good. It's actually painted on and it kind of is raised up a little bit too. It's part of the metalwork, but it looks like a separate badge. So that looks good in that way. The wheels look fairly well done. This wheel style was on the real Vette, but the tires are a bit too thick. They're almost like thick like SUV or snow tires, which is kind of strange. And if these had white walls, it would honestly look a lot better. I think the white walls would look good, especially with the white interior and the white fins. It doesn't really detract from the look of the car too much, but it would just, I think, add even more kind of beauty to this model if they put the white walls on there. But that's just me, I guess. Very good steering. You can kind of pose this car in all different ways with the front wheels, which looks really cool. But there is no suspension. Bburago never really did suspension on their models. This one does not have that, unfortunately. And Maisto didn't insert suspension when they took over the tooling of this model. So on the sides here, you see there's a fuel injection symbol on there with the flags there. That looks pretty good. And the fins are separate plastic pieces too. Same badge back here as the front. It looks good. Taillights are separate pieces. They look pretty well done, especially from a distance too. The whole look of the back of the car looks really nice. License plate frame is back here too. And this bumper is a little bit loose, but that must be just like a factory defect or something. Opening features, we'll start back here with the trunk. Maisto did a good job with this trunk here. It has kind of a texture to it, and this is actually a full spare tire. I think on older versions of the model it could pop out, but this one doesn't. I wouldn't try to pop it out either because you might have trouble getting it back in. But I like how it's not just like a molded plastic piece. Like it's a true spare wheel and tire, which a lot of older Maistos and Buragos used to do, but then in recent years they haven't done so much. But on this one, that's definitely an exception because it has an actual tire and wheel back there, which looks nice. Moving along to the engine, this is where the Bburago kind of really shines. It's completely chrome, the engine. On the other hand, though, it is made up of several separate pieces. You can see there's a Corvette inscription on either side of the main block there. There's some piping and some other detailing throughout. If they added some color aside from chrome, it would look better. It does actually look kind of cool. Like if you have the hood open like this, like a chrome engine, it looks cool. It's just not that like realistic compared to other engine details, I would say. You can actually see all the way down to the bottom too, which is another nice touch. There's that grill there. You can see my hand like waving through there. So yeah, decent engine. Could use a little bit more detailing to kind of line up with the details of other like modern 1/18 scale engines. But again, this model's from like the 1980s, so some things aren't going to be like perfect. Interior, we'll take a look at that next. We'll take a look at the door panel detail first. Nice detailing on the door panels here. They actually have kind of a texture to them if you run your finger across there. There's a few separate chrome pieces, like here's the window winder there. This kind of like vent down here and this piece up there. They're all separate, which look good. On the black version, of course, this would be black instead of white. But they did a pretty good job with the door panels, I would say. The seats are nicely done as well. They kind of have a nice texture to them. This is a bit too shiny, I think, this border here. I don't know if it's like that on the real car or not, but it kind of shines on here a bit too much. You can see it even more on the black seats if the car has black seats. It's not too bad from a distance, but if you have it in direct light, like I do now, you can kind of see it more. Dashboard detailing, very nice overall. All these buttons are separate, as you can see here. I don't know if they're like knobs or buttons, but whatever they are, they're all cast in separate pieces, which look great. There's the shifter right there. This kind of like vent or speaker, that can't be a speaker. That vent right there. Rear view mirror is a little bit loose and it's done entirely in chrome, which kind of cheapens the car a little bit. If they had maybe painted this body color, this dashboard is actually metal. Because on the real car, the metal of the hood continues into the dashboard. So I like how Maisto and Bburago kind of did that on this model. They could have gone the cheap route and just molded the dashboard like with the windshield piece, but they didn't do that, so that's nice to see. The steering wheel is nicely detailed. It has the holes in it. It shouldn't be all black though. It should have some different colors on it, but it's not a huge deal or anything. You can see it does turn the wheels, which is a nice touch. Pedals are a bit cheap. They're kind of molded into the floor back there. They're really kind of hard to see too. There we go. So yeah, those could use a little bit more detailing, but this car was bought at Sam's Club for like $14, so I'd say for that it's a really great deal. Oh yeah, undercarriage. Let's take a look at the undercarriage. Decent looking undercarriage. The exhaust is done in chrome, which is what Maisto and Bburago usually do. It has this kind of frame underneath it too. That's a pretty big feature on a lot of Bburago models. You can actually see the steering working, which is cool if you look underneath there. And something cool is that you see where it says Maisto here. Bburago, on their models, they have this kind of shiny square in their name. So Maisto literally just removed the Bburago name and put their name on it. Even the font, like the 1/18 scale font, is done in like the Bburago font. Yeah, there it is right there. Not a big deal or anything. It's just kind of interesting to see this kind of like random stuff. Overall, this is the only 1957 Corvette model you can actually get. No other like higher end model manufacturers made one. So this is kind of your only choice. In terms of first generation Corvette models, there's a bunch out there, but this one's probably the best one for budget collectors. And if you can find it at Sam's Club, I would say definitely get it. It comes in all kinds of colors. You can find it pretty much all over the internet too, like on eBay and Amazon and whatnot. So if you're a fan of classic cars or Corvettes, I definitely would recommend putting this in your collection. All right, that's going to be all for today's video. Again, thank you guys for watching. And feel free to give me some feedback down below on this new filming location, which I can always just go back to the dining room. I just wanted to kind of test this out to see how it worked. And as always, be sure to follow my other social media, Nick's Diecast page on Instagram. Thanks for watching.